Hi there, I'm Professor Juris, and I just wanted to make you a quick video about building a photographic team. And that's something I think that's often overlooked in beginning photographers, or when you're setting up a studio, is that you really need to have a photographic team. And back when 40 years ago or something, when I first started my first studio, I kind of had a little team, and then I even established more of a bigger team. But the team that I had was my father, because he was a photographer. So he would oftentimes, go with me and stuff when I started photographing weddings and stuff, and be the backup photographer. So that worked out really well for me. But in a certain case, like the reason I made this video was there was a time when I had a wedding booked, and I got a job about photographing a senior reunion with a couple hundred people. A senior picture would be for a couple hundred people for a reunion. So those are a lot of money. And then I also had a job for another reunion. I can't remember what exactly it was. It wasn't a school reunion, it was something else, but there was about 100 people in that one. So I needed two other photographers, and I was lucky that at that time I knew some photographers, and I actually hired them to go out and do the job, and that way my studio was able to keep that business. So, it's very important, I think, when you're starting out, that you make connections and that you network, so that you have other photographers. And let's say you're a one-man team, one-person team. Let's say that you're going out you're photographing weddings, and especially with this COVID that had just hit, the pandemic. It's pretty much over now, most people think, but there's still a lot of it going around. But let's say you have a wedding booked, and it's the most important day of a lot of people's lives when you photograph their wedding, and especially if you're charging a couple $1,000s to photograph a wedding, and you don't want to end up in court by not being able to make it. So let's say you're sick. You need to have a backup photographer, on hand, somebody that is probably not running their own business, because that person will probably have a wedding too. But you need to at least have someone that you can call that can photograph that wedding if you can't make it. And that's where the idea of this video came from, in building a photographic team. So if you're just starting out and you're younger, I've said this to my photographic classes many times, but if you are pursuing a career in photography and you want to have a studio, then what you really need to do is you need to join the Professional Photographers of America, and you need to join the professional photographers of your state. For example, I'm in Ohio, so it would be the Professional Photographers of Ohio. And you need to get active in those groups, so that you meet people and so that you can network. And by doing that, you're going to start to establish a team. You're going to meet different people, and a lot of times it's even you may need some piece of photographic equipment that somebody has, and you might ask them if you could borrow it for a certain job or something. So, but it's good just to go to these things and also learn a lot. There's a ton to be learned in photography. Things are changing every day. Like let's say you're networking in the PPFO, Professional Photographers of Ohio, and you taken on a wedding client, and you're going to do their wedding, but they really want drone photography too, and you don't have a drone, or you don't do drone photography. By networking, you would know some drone photographers, and you could add that onto your price list, if they want a drone, and you could call the person and maybe have one or two people that have drones, and bring them in, and that's a specific thing, and having drone photography done during a wedding. So that's kind of a good thing to have. So, but anytime that you're meeting people, you're kind of networking. So in my case, what I actually did is I actually trained a few people for my studio that weren't actual photographers to begin with, but that I had eventually. I took them to weddings with me and trained them to do this, and I think some of them are even doing the business right now. They started their own business, and I've been my business was in Youngstown, Ohio, and it was 40 years ago, but I think some of the people are still carrying on that I taught to do wedding photography and stuff. But the reason that I taught them and brought them with me was, again, that they were part of my team, so I could call them. But I think that you should even think of your team more broader even than just photographers. So you need to have a backup photographer at your wedding, or if you're doing weddings, and you need to have a backup person that can maybe take care of your business in the event that you get sick. and then like have some other people too that you can call. Like a lot of photographer studios that I see today, they actually have people that do makeup, that do hair, that are on you know, on their payroll, that if they need a bride coming in and she'll need her hair taken care of, they can take care of her hair right there, and they take care of her makeup to make sure everything's perfect for the photo. And this is, again, getting into maybe a little bit of higher end photographers, but it always helps to, you know, to have a team. So, you know, start to think about setting up your own team so that you have people that you can work with. And I always, even if I'm like photographing a senior, or if I was photographing, you know, a couple or something, I always had an assistant that would go with me. So you need to, you know, have an assistant that can come along with you, whether it's to hold reflectors, you know, or to, you know, add fill flash from off-camera flash and hold the flash, and even carry your equipment. I was actually hired years ago. When I was in graduate school, a photographer from Cincinnati called me, and he was doing some photographs of some farmers, and he hired me just to go along and carry his photographic equipment. But it was, you know, he just didn't want anybody to carry it in case he needed something done that the person needed to know some things. So and it ended up I was like helping him with the fill flash. But so all those things are important, but just wanted to, you know, touch base and make this quick video about, you know, team building. So think about and there's other organizations too beside the PPFO and the Professional Photographers of Ohio, Professional Photographers of America. There's other places that you can meet, like for example, local camera clubs. Local camera clubs are a great place that you could start to build your team if you join a camera club, because a lot of the people in camera clubs don't necessarily have photographic businesses. But they love to take pictures and they know things. So you might start going to some of them and meet people, you know, and be very outgoing and friendly, and you know, that'll help you to meet more people, and also find the people that you know, get along with, or that are on your same level, that kind of have the same ideas as you, and things, and then, you know, you could get their phone numbers and contact information, and then maybe tell them you might need a backup photographer, that would they mind, you know, coming along with you at a wedding and so forth. And by doing that, you're going to have a person that you can use in the event that you need somebody. So you know, it's always about, like, you want to make sure your studio is moving forward all the time, and not turning jobs down either. Especially if you're starting, you need to take in all the business that you can. So you know, think about team building, and where you can you know, meet different people. That if you're a student in college right now, the students in your class, you might, you know, not think of them for the most part as you know, being part of your team, but you know, if you're really nice to people and get along with people and share your knowledge and gain their knowledge, then you can always rely on those people later to be part of your team. So anyway, I hope that helps. If that helps, please give me a thumbs up on this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and there'll be more videos coming in the future. Thank you.